It was seen as one of the most stacked drafts in recent memory, and every team inside the top 10 had a chance to land a huge talent. But 5 years later, some of the guys are out of the league, just like in any draft class. Others are barely clinging on to backup roles, and some of the most dominant players from this class were completely overlooked. This is what happened to the top 10 picks from 2020, one of the most insane drafts ever. When they chose Las Vegas for the 2020 NFL Draft, it was supposed to be a huge show. Instead, the commissioner was announcing picks from his basement, Jerry Jones was drafting from a $250 million yacht, and Bill Belichick's dog was trying to save the team from imploding without Tom Brady. The 2019 season was the year we had tank for Tua, and for a while it was a race to the bottom, with the Dolphins going 0-7 to start the year and the Bengals going 0-11. In the end, the Bengals ended up locking up that first pick, but by that point, Tua had suffered a hip injury and some guy named Joe Burrow dropped possibly the best college season of all time.
But very effective. Now Burrow going to launch downfield for Chase. Who's got it? Touchdown LSU. Perfect season, national championship.
Joe Burrow of LSU, kind of the consensus #1 overall pick. Above average Joe, as I like to call him, but above average might not even give this guy justice because he's been spectacular this year, a really good prospect.
Yeah, he was well above average in terms of he had the highest overall grade we've ever given to a quarterback.
He had 5,671 yards, 60 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions in 2019. Like somebody playing Madden on rookie mode, he crushed the Heisman competition against studs like Jalen Hurts and Justin Fields, making him the obvious top pick heading into the draft. Burrow started his NFL career with some bright spots. He lit up Cleveland twice, once in Week 2 with 316 yards and 3 touchdowns, then again in Week 7 with 406 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. But winning was tough. He went 2-6-1 as a starter before blowing out his knee against Washington. A lot of quarterbacks would never be the same after that, but Burrow is built different.
Joe, that's one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch play. I don't like playing against him. Why? Because he's so poised. He's so poised.
In 2021, he came back on fire, throwing for 4,611 yards and 34 touchdowns, winning Comeback Player of the Year. Even crazier, he took the Bengals all the way to the Super Bowl, losing to the Rams in a really tight game. Since then, he's been in that top 5 quarterback conversation, depending on who you ask, which is crazy when you think how Mahomes, Allen, and Lamar already are taking up 3 of those spots. The dude is ice cold in the pocket and can scramble when he really needs to. His 2024 season was also insanely good. He led the league with 4,918 yards and 43 touchdowns. For 3 straight weeks against the Raiders, Ravens, and Chargers, he was untouchable. 12 touchdown passes and just 1 interception. If Cincinnati had any defense at all, he probably would have won MVP. When Peyton Manning puts you as the second best quarterback in football right now behind Patrick Mahomes, you know you're doing something right. Oh, and did you guys know that the guy owns a freaking Batmobile? If anybody's gonna pull that off, it's Burrow. But if you want to talk about superhero expectations, Chase Young came into the NFL with crazy hype. At Ohio State, the guy was a nightmare for offenses. He had 30.5 sacks in 3 years with a monster final season where he piled up 16.5 sacks and 21 tackles for a loss. He tore through college football, grabbing All-American honors and the Chuck Bednarik Award as the best defensive player in the country. Washington took him 2nd overall, and wow, did that pick look smart right away. Young's rookie year gave them everything they wanted and more. He put up 7.5 sacks, 4 pass deflections, 4 forced fumbles, and even recovered 1 for a touchdown. He was Defensive Rookie of the Year, earned a Pro Bowl nod, and it really looked like Washington had their defensive star for the future.
Look out. Fake the handoff, and hello, Chase Young.
Then 2021 happened, and with it came the moment that flipped his career. One bad step, one wrong twist, and suddenly everything changes. Young sat out most of 2022 as well, and that explosive player who scared quarterbacks as a rookie just never came back all the way. Midway through the 2023 season, Washington had enough, shipping him to San Francisco. In 2024, he wound up with the Saints, playing in every game but not starting one time. He did get 5.5 sacks, okay numbers, but it's obvious that he's nowhere near close to the dominating force that he used to be. The crazy thing is that he's only 25 years old. He should be hitting his prime right now, not bouncing between teams. That explosion that made him special in college and as a rookie just is not the same since the injury. The Lions grabbed Jeff Okudah, 3rd overall, with dreams of finally having that shutdown cornerback they've needed forever. His final season in college was legit. All-American with 3 interceptions, 35 tackles, and 9 pass breakups. Detroit made him the highest drafted cornerback since 1997, and he had that perfect blend of size and speed, and the hype, it was off the charts.
Okudah's just played lights out football pretty much every time he's stepped on a football field since he got to Ohio State.
But his rookie year gave us some early warning signs. Okudah only played in 9 games, fighting through injuries while putting up 47 tackles, just 1 interception, and 2 pass breakups. Not the worst numbers in the world, but definitely not what you're looking for from the 3rd pick in the draft. Year 2 is where things really went sideways though. In his first game of 2021, Okudah tore his Achilles. About the worst possible injury for a guy whose job depends on quick cuts and explosive movements. He did manage a comeback in 2022 with his best pro season, 73 tackles, an interception, and 7 pass breakups. But even then, you were watching him play and thought, this isn't a number 3 pick we're looking at here. The Lions finally pulled the plug, and since then, Okudah has been bouncing around. Atlanta in 2023, then Houston in 2024, where he barely saw the field, playing just 6 games with almost nothing to show for it. Cornerback might be the hardest position to jump from college to the pros. Even the great college cornerbacks often look lost against NFL receivers and dealing with the complex coverages. Throw in those major injuries and it's pretty clear why Okudah hasn't panned out. Now we're left wondering if he can somehow save his career somewhere, or he'll just be another name on that long list of cornerbacks who were supposed to be stars in the NFL but never panned out. Some guys struggle to handle NFL competition, and other guys can't seem to stay healthy. Andrew Thomas definitely falls into that second group. After crushing it for 3 years at Georgia and earning All-American honors in 2019, Giants grabbed Thomas 4th overall to protect Daniel Jones. And when he's actually on the field, this dude delivers. His rookie year showed plenty of promise, starting 15 of the 16 games, and the Giants clearly liked what they saw. By 2021, Thomas was getting better and better as a pass blocker, but injuries cut his season to just 13 games. Then came 2022, his breakout year. A full 16-game season where he earned second-team All-Pro honors. That year, Thomas proved that he belonged among the top left tackles in football, finally looking like that cornerstone the Giants thought they were getting at pick number 4. But since then, man, the injuries, they just keep coming. He only played 10 games in 2023 and 6 games in 2024. His latest problem, a Lisfranc foot injury, which is bad news for a big guy like Thomas. It's the kind of injury that has a nasty history of slowing guys down. This has got to hurt for Giants fans, seeing how different their offense looks with and without him. When Thomas is holding down that left side, everything works just a little bit better. Take him out of the equation and suddenly everything falls apart. The talent with this guy is definitely there. When he's healthy, Thomas is absolutely one of the best tackles in football, but he has missed chunks of time in 3 of his first 5 seasons. And they do always say your best ability is your availability, and as good as he is, you just can't rely on that so far. Tua got the call at number 5, going to the Dolphins, who have basically been desperate for a legitimate quarterback since Dan Marino retired. They did have that 1 year with Pennington, and then they had Ryan Tannehill for a little bit, who was alright, but they've never had that true franchise guy. At Alabama, Tua looked every bit of that guy.
From St. Louis High School in Honolulu, it's Tua Tagovailoa. You'll just have to get used to saying his name. You may say it quite a bit.
Tua, the 5-star, most gifted high school passer Trent Dilfer's ever seen.
Tagovailoa fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins!
In 2018, he had 3,966 yards, 43 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions, and he came in second for the Heisman behind only Kyler Murray. He was crushing it again in 2019 until his injury against Ole Miss.
Comes out throwing. On the run. Pressure from behind. And that's where Nick Saban is thinking, where's Mac Jones?
which basically ended any hope he had of being the first overall pick, especially when you look at how well Burrow played that year. In the pros, his rookie year wasn't too bad. 1,814 yards, 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions in 10 games, with a decent 87.1 passer rating. The problem, this offense was built for Ryan Fitzpatrick, not Tua. Year 2 was even weirder. Miami decided that 2 offensive coordinators were better than 1. Spoiler alert, they were not. Then 2022 happened. New head coach Mike McDaniel designed an offense specifically for Tua's game, and wow, it worked wonders. He threw for 3,548 yards with 25 touchdowns and just 8 interceptions. He led the NFL in touchdown percentage and passer rating at 105.5, and he's kept it up. In 2023, he led the league with 4,624 passing yards and 29 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. Last year, of course, he did miss a ton of time, but his 72.9% completion rate was the highest in the league, and without him at quarterback, the Dolphins looked lost.
Tua's special, man. He's special. He's a franchise guy. He's an elite quarterback. He's young. He hasn't even scratched the surface of what his career is about to become.
When Tua's on the field, he's clearly the best quarterback in Miami since Marino hung up the cleats. But those concussions, man, every time he takes a hit, everybody holds their breath. Some former players and analysts have flat out said that he should retire before things get even worse.
Chase, starting with you, should Tua consider retiring? A heavy question I just asked you. We all had to make that decision up here, which is what I love about this show. We all had to make that decision, so I don't take your words lightly. Should Tua consider retiring?
Yes.
Then we have his playoff performances. Against average defenses, Tua looks like a superstar, elite level talent. Then against the really good defenses in the big games and the games in the cold, not so much. So here's the $1 million question. Can Tua stay healthy enough and step up when it matters the most to get Miami back to being a real contender? The 2025 season is going to be very interesting for sure. Talk about another quarterback dealing with sky-high expectations. After 4 years at Oregon where he put up over 3,000 yards in both of his final 2 seasons, Herbert joined the Chargers at pick 6, and what happened next was incredible. Herbert had one of the best rookie quarterback seasons ever, throwing for 4,336 yards, 31 touchdowns, and only 10 interceptions. Not surprising at all that he won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Year 2 was somehow even more ridiculous. Herbert threw for over 5,000 yards with 38 touchdowns and made his first Pro Bowl. At this point in time, everybody thought we were going to be watching one of the best passers in the league. But since then, things have gotten complicated. His numbers in 2022 were still good, 4,739 yards, 25 touchdowns, but not quite as efficient. And they lost a heartbreaker to Jacksonville in the first round of the playoffs. Then injuries limited him to just 13 games in 2023, and his 2024 season felt like a step back from those first 2 years. The one bright spot though, his 0.6% interception rate was the best in the league. This guy almost never threw a pick. Until the playoffs anyway. See, here's the weird part about Herbert. His stats look great, but his record does not. He's 41-38 as a starter and 0-2 in the playoffs. His most recent playoff game against the Texans was a complete disaster. 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions, and a brutal 40.9 passer rating. So how does a guy who's so careful with the ball all regular season fall apart at the end like that? Jim Harbaugh clearly believes in Herbert's potential. I mean, the other day he was saying that he woke up in the middle of the night thinking about how to get him into the Hall of Fame. The raw talent is obviously there, but Herbert needs that playoff success to join that top tier of quarterbacks. You really can't help but think back to Stafford's time with the Lions or Andrew Luck's career with the Colts. Incredible quarterback talent, but maybe held back by issues within the organization. The difference here, Herbert now has Harbaugh, who really knows how to win. Maybe next season finally takes Herbert from really good to truly great, but it's not going to be easy to make it out of the AFC. Now, everybody loves talking about quarterbacks on draft day, but sometimes the real difference makers are the big guys up front. Derek Brown is the perfect example, a guy who's been doing a great job for Carolina without getting the attention that he really deserves. At Auburn, Brown was a force. His senior season earned him All-American honors with 55 tackles, 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 4 passes knocked down. You just don't normally see many 320-pound defensive tackles who can impact the game in so many different ways. Carolina grabbed him 7th overall, and right away he stabilized their defensive line. His rookie numbers, they weren't mind-blowing: 34 tackles, 2 sacks, 12 quarterback hits. But what jumped out was how quickly he adjusted to NFL-level blocking. What I really like about Brown's career so far is how he just keeps getting better every single season. It all came together in 2023 when he made his first Pro Bowl appearance with an absolutely ridiculous 103 tackle season, along with 2 sacks and an interception. That tackle number, by the way, it broke the all-time NFL record for a defensive lineman in a single season.
By big number 95. Who else? The anchor of that D-line, Derrick Brown.
I haven't seen anybody do that to Alvin Kamara in a long time. He just threw him on the ground, took Kamara, swung around. It's unbelievable.
Then 2024 delivered the heartbreaker. Brown suffered a severe knee injury in the season opener and missed the entire year. For a Panthers defense that was already struggling, losing Brown was devastating. They ended up having the worst rushing defense in the league by a long shot. Now we're all wondering, can Brown bounce back from this and return to being one of the NFL's best interior defenders? Bryce Young certainly hopes so. Some guys just can't seem to stay healthy, and others struggle with a completely different problem: being too versatile for their own good. That seems to be Isaiah Simmons' issue right now. At Clemson, this dude was every defensive coordinator's dream player. He started off as a safety before eventually moving to linebacker during his final year, where he racked up 103 tackles, 7 sacks, and 3 interceptions on his way to All-American honors. NFL scouts couldn't stop talking about how this guy could do everything from covering tight ends to blitzing quarterbacks.
I've never really had a guy quite like him.
This guy plays everywhere on the football field. Crazy size, crazy athleticism, versatility everywhere.
Okay, Isaiah Simmons is our guy.
Okay.
Here we go.
The Cardinals took him 8th overall, dreaming about a defensive weapon they could move all over the field. And his rookie year wasn't terrible: 54 tackles, 2 sacks, and an interception in 16 games, starting in 7 of them. His second season looked like maybe the light bulb was turning on. Simmons piled up 105 tackles, picked off a pass, and forced 4 fumbles. Even so, he wasn't fully clicking though. And after one more year in Arizona, they'd seen enough. The Cardinals shipped him to the Giants before the 2023 season, but the new surroundings, they didn't help. His 2024 season in New York was rough. He appeared in all 17 games, but started in just 1 and only made 21 tackles all year long. That's practically invisible for a former top 10 pick. And now he's heading to Green Bay in 2025. The Packers are hoping those athletic traits might finally translate into consistent production. But let's be real. At this point, nobody's expecting the superstar that they thought they were going to get on draft day. Simmons is basically the perfect example of why being a jack of all trades but master of none can actually hurt you a lot in the NFL. The question right now is whether Green Bay can finally figure out how to use such a unique athlete effectively. If you thought Simmons was a disappointment, CJ Henderson's career path makes him look like a success story in comparison. Henderson's NFL journey is basically what teams fear the most when drafting cornerbacks high. At Florida, Henderson showed serious playmaking ability across 3 seasons. His freshman season in 2017 was especially eye-catching: 4 interceptions with 2 returned for touchdowns. That big play potential right there convinced the Jaguars to draft him 9th overall. And after the first game, he was looking like an amazing choice with 5 tackles, 3 pass breakups, and a pick against the Colts. The trouble is that the rest of the year did not look like that at all. He played just 8 games before going on IR, and most of the time played nothing like a top 10 pick when he was on the field. The Jags bailed on Henderson insanely fast, shipping him to Carolina during his second year. Things didn't get much better with the Panthers either. His 2022 season showed small signs of improvement with 58 tackles and 2 interceptions, but the good plays were constantly overshadowed by his coverage mistakes. When Carolina declined his 5th-year option, that told you everything that you needed to know. His 2024 season was even sadder. Henderson bounced from Houston's practice squad, where he eventually got cut, to Pittsburgh's practice squad, where he eventually made the active roster but couldn't get on the field. What makes Henderson's situation extra painful is watching those other cornerbacks from this draft class develop into solid starters while he can barely hang on to a spot on the roster. Just goes to show you that getting drafted high gets your foot in the door, but it does not guarantee that you're going to stick around. Okay, so we've had injuries, bad scheme fits, and technical issues, but our last top 10 pick from 2020 could be the most frustrating case of them all. A player with all the talent in the world who just doesn't seem to care at all.
With the 10th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, Cleveland Browns select Jedrick Wills, tackle, Alabama.
After 3 solid years at Alabama's offensive line factory, the Browns took Wills 10th overall to protect Baker Mayfield at the time. His rookie year looked promising. He started 15 games and showed off all the skills that made him such a highly rated prospect. His second season, he missed some time, but in 2022, he was back to being a reliable starter on Cleveland's O-line. Then 2023 happened, and everything changed. Wills played just 8 games before an MCL injury in Week 9 put him on IR. Injuries happen in football, that's just part of the game, but his return in 2024 was when the real red flags started popping up. Injury stopped him from playing until Week 3. Then on October 27th, he decided to make a business decision and sit out the game against the Ravens because of that lingering knee issue. Soon after this, he was benched and didn't play a single snap from Week 11 through the end of the year. In total, Wills only played 5 games last season. 4 really when you factor in that Week 9 was only 2 snaps. Then when you watch the film from those games, what jumps out the most isn't the mistakes or the physical limitations, it's the lack of effort. It's almost like he's not really trying to be out there at all. On key downs, he looked completely checked out, just going through the motions instead of battling with the intensity that you need to survive in the NFL. The Browns' decision to let Wills walk after his rookie deal tells you everything about how they view him. Think about it. Quality offensive linemen are among the hardest positions to fill in the entire league, yet Cleveland took one look at their former first-round pick and said, no thank you. Now Wills is heading into 2025 without a team, which is pretty rare for a recent top 10 pick. So there's the top 10 for you, but what's really got to be painful for some of these teams who whiffed is just how many legit stars were still around to be picked. Patrick Queen went 28th to Baltimore and immediately showed that he could fly all over the field. He made second-team All-Pro in 2023, then headed to Pittsburgh where he racked up 129 tackles in 2024. At pick 45, Antoine Winfield Jr. has been a monster at safety when he's been healthy. In 2023, he made All-Pro first team with 122 tackles, 3 interceptions, and led the league with 6 forced fumbles. When he's on the field, he is a complete game changer.
Who would you say is the top guy at the safety position right now?
Antoine Winfield.
And you really do have to feel sorry for the Browns when you take a look at Tristan Wirfs. The guy's had 4 straight Pro Bowl appearances, 2 first-team All-Pro selections, and a Super Bowl ring with Tampa. Elite tackles normally don't fall out of the top 10, so getting him at number 13 was a steal. Talking about highway robbery, there's a few guys from that 2020 draft who would have been top 10 picks if teams could rewind the clock. Jonathan Taylor being one of them, where he went nuclear in year number 2 with 1,881 rushing yards and 18 touchdowns. Then you have CeeDee Lamb at number 17. Dallas hit the jackpot here. Pro Bowls every year after his rookie season and 6,339 yards with 38 touchdowns in 5 years. Then we have Jalen Hurts at pick 53. He started as Carson Wentz's backup, and now he's a dual threat star with 2 Pro Bowl appearances and a Super Bowl ring in 2024. Whether or not they do ban the tush push, I don't know, but his 55 rushing touchdowns in 5 years is straight up ridiculous. But I think my guy Justin Jefferson might top them all.
Kirk Cousins back to throw on 4th and 18. He's given time. He wants Jefferson. Climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness!
Taken 22nd by Minnesota, he's averaging 96.5 yards per game, which is the highest in NFL history. For comparison, Randy Moss averaged 70.1. Jefferson makes jaw-dropping catches pretty much every game that he's a part of, and he has more receiving yards in his first 5 years than anybody else ever. He's proven himself to be quarterback-proof, and you gotta think he's just warming up. Pair this guy up with an elite quarterback, and it's gonna be game over. 5 years later, it's crazy looking back on this draft class. We had some top picks that lived up to the hype, others fell short in a massive way, and a few late round picks are literally rewriting the record books. But I'd like to know what you guys think. Which player from this draft class surprised you the most? And who do you think is going to have the best career when it's all said and done? Let me know in the comments section down below.